Amber, how are
Oh,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you get to play a really fun part in this where she's part of this kind of feminist group led by Laura Dern, which I feel like is everyone's kind of dream feminist group.
Right?
But it's just being led by Laura Dern. So when you do look at this show as a whole, are there moments where you wish you got to go to like the resort and have those looks that everyone kind of gets, the Palm
Listen,
Royale?
I'm a fashion girly, so I love fashion. I love clothes. So there were moments where, yes, I would have loved to have been like in one of the like colorful outfits. I would see Kristen come in the set, and I was like, "Oh, she got on yellow today. I want to wear some yellow." Like, for me, it was about the fashion, and then also when we had the big beach ball to see everyone's outfits and the set, it was just so glamorous. So yes, absolutely.
Well, I also love how these characters are kind of interconnected because, like, at the beginning of the season, the feminist group kind of seemed their own thing until all of these women needed them. And then we learn that actually the one character is related to kind of Alice and Janney, and they're all kind of interwoven. When you guys are given these scripts, how does are you aware of those facts so then they play into your approach, or are you learning them just as we are, like episode by episode?
We're learning them when you are, episode by episode, which is so funny because I would set a whole scene for myself at home when I got a new script. I'm sitting in front of the computer. I got my hot tea, got my blanket, my dog at my feet. Let me read this new episode. And by the end of it, I'm like, are you serious? I was like, is this what we're doing? Oh my God. Every episode kept me on a cliffhanger. So I know how the audience feels now that they're watching it. A lot of my family members are like, it's getting juicy. It's getting juicier. And I'm like, I know. Just imagine reading it on paper and then now seeing it in its full glory is like, it's otherworldly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was shocked that she wasn't lying. I was like, Kristen was just making up some story. And
Yes.
then
People,
I was like,
especially
she's
when
not
Douglas
lying.
shows up and he's an actual pilot. You're like, so what is she lying about? Is she lying? Because I feel like she lying. Somebody's lying. You just can't put two and two together. You're like, okay, it's really real well written. Like I can't praise the writers enough on this. It's so good.
Yeah, and Amber, I do have to say, you have one of my favorite things is when, Leslie Bibb, she's there, she has to get an abortion, and they're like, who's gonna take care of her? And you just get up and you're like, not me. And you like have left this.
Yes, I'm like, that's your friend. I just show y'all the place. That's it. Don't be putting me in none of this madness. That's too much drama and too much mess for Virginia. She was like, I don't want it. These are white people problems. I don't need it. Absolutely
But
not.
the show lets especially that group of women kind of like the feminists have that fun where they're like, yeah, I don't care what you you think you're doing over there. This
Okay.
is we're doing the
I,
work.
this is our world
So,
versus your world. Exactly.
but yeah, and so how much fun is that for you to kind of like have those moments in the background where she is very clearly like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe you think these things.
It's so freeing because I'm that type of person in real life to where I'm like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Let me just mind my business, not my circus, not my monkey. So to be able to actually live in a time like 1969 and have that energy is so freeing as a Black woman because I know you had to be very careful at that time about how you interacted with people who didn't look like you versus your own people. So to be able to live in that is such a freeing feeling.
Especially because Virginia gets to be like that group, that whole premise is that they are like hiding away because they could be fugitives for like helping someone get an abortion or helping these things happen. And so it's very fun when you get to live in those moments where they're very much like, I don't care.
Yeah,
This is how I feel.
I've cared enough. Yes.
And, and like you were saying, I do love, as much as I'm like, I love that side of things, I do love like seeing the big ball and like
Yes.
seeing all of these kind of characters who are inherently horrible still look absolutely gorgeous, and the kind
Yeah.
of dichotomy of that. For you, what is one of your favorite parts about being on a show like this that does kind of show the dichotomy of human beings in that way?
Um, I think it's that's a good question. Um, I think it allows people to slowly learn what empathy is, in a sense, and hold space for experiences that may not be the first thing they open their ear to, if that makes any sense. There are so many aspects you come from in this show. Like you're seeing it from all different point of views. And I think it's important to understand we empathize with Maxine. We empathize with Virginia. We empathize with Linda, but we know right from wrong. We know what's happening. We even empathize with Evelyn, Allison's character. But
Mhm.
I think it's important to see the experience because a lot of the times we judge without understanding why people are the way they are. Everybody has a reason as to why they move the way they move, and it's based off their experiences. And I think this show does a really good job of like tackling that. It gives people an opportunity to hold space for people that they normally wouldn't, especially in this time period
Yeah.
with the themes that we're attacking. Yeah.
Yeah. For a last question, I do have to ask, it's so completely unserious, but a show like this, seeing all of these people show up in it, me as the audience, I'm screaming and hooting and hollering. But what was that like on set? Like, because there's living legends like Carol Burnett on this show. Granted, she's in a bed the majority of the time, but she's there. What
He's
is
a
it
bad.
like kind of she's there? But what is it like being on that set and like seeing all of these people who are like to a lot of people legends kind of getting to live in that comedy and the world of Palm Royale?
For me, it was such a masterclass to be able to see them live and in color and witness what they do. Like for a long time, I've been such a Kristen Wiig fan. Bridesmaids is one of my favorite movies. So
Mhm.
just her comedic timing is just so genius to me. So to watch her live and in color do what she does is like, oh, this is real. And just taking notes, Laura, just seeing how she shows up on set, how she tackles the language, same with Allison, her gravitas, how she enters a room. Just watching them work was such a masterclass for me. And I felt so grateful to be there. I'm like, let me take notes. I have my little pen and pad in my trailer, like Allison walked in today. And this is what she did. I gotta remember to do that next time I have a role like that. Like just learning and being a sponge and soaking it all in was such a great experience.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm jealous, but thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it, and I love the show. I think it's so much fun.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much.
Of course, have a great one.